For some Syrians, President Bashar al-Assad is no longer their legitimate leader. Syrian authorities say they plan to hold a national dialogue with members of the opposition, but opposition groups say they would talk only if thousands of prisoners are released and the crackdown on the protesters is stopped.
I think the change in my position and in everybody else's will come if the Syrian government carries out serious measures that leads to freedom and democracy.
Kilo is one of the founding members of Syria's first internal opposition coalition, the Damascus Declaration, which was signed by more than 250 opposition figures. The document criticized the government as authoritarian and called for gradual and peaceful reforms based on dialogue. They didn't achieve their goals. Many of them were imprisoned and later released. Some of them are now saying there is still room to negotiate with the state if reforms are carried out. The same reforms opposition groups based outside Syria are demanding. They met in Istanbul last month, and another gathering may be held once they find what they call an appropriate venue. That meeting may explicitly demand the downfall of the government. The challenge, some say, is to create a united voice among members of traditional opposition groups and the activists of the protest movement.
There is a fear that in a democratic regime or a democratic government in Syria, if there is a free and fair elected parliament, that the majority will be a Sunni parliament. And I think that's the fear that certain members of Syria's minorities have.
Opposition groups will now have to convince a large number of the population who haven't joined the protests out of fear to support their cause. A mere call for toppling the government may not be enough to gain legitimacy and avoid a division among opposition groups that could bring more chaos. Zeina Khodr, Al Jazeera, Beirut.